Hi, I'm Laura, HR consultant and founder of Mint Manager. I help leaders improve their employee experience and their employment law compliance for better results. I'm here today to present some very important training on the prevention of sexual harassment in the workplace. Welcome everyone. The objective of this training is to cultivate a safe and respectful workplace for all. By the end of this session, you'll have a clear understanding of how to identify, prevent, and respond to sexual harassment, helping us all contribute to a supportive and inclusive workplace. So what we'll talk about? We'll talk about what is this new employment law? Why is it being introduced? What are the statistics, the costs and impacts on employer and employees? What does sexual harassment actually look like? I'll provide case law examples and how to complain if you're experiencing it or someone else you know is experiencing it. I'll also provide external resources so you can tap into further research, education and support, and I'll let you know how you can stay in touch with me. So let's get started. So this is the new law. As of the 26th of October 2024, the Worker Protection Act 2023, which is an amendment of the Equality Act 2010, came into force. The Act introduces new legal obligations on employers to take reasonable steps to prevent sexual harassment in the workplace. This includes preventative duty. Employers must take all reasonable steps to prevent workplace sexual harassment, not just responding to grievances, so it's more proactive. Third-party harassment. Employers are now responsible if their employees are sexually harassed by clients, customers, or third parties. Reasonable steps. Employers must take reasonable steps, such as implementing a risk assessment, updating their policies and introducing anti-sexual harassment policy, and ongoing training to prevent sexual harassment, as well as any other appropriate steps deemed suitable as a result of a risk assessment, which is very contextualized to someone's business and the industry that they're in. And the fourth one is the employer consequences of non-compliance. There is a hefty uplift in compensation by 25% if an employee makes a complaint and the tribunal case is successful. So it can be very, very costly, sexual harassment, because it is uncapped. And one case in 2024 cost an employer £350,000. So it's a significant penalty, and it's much better to be proactive and take preventative measures than be on the back foot and really make it cost for you. The Act makes three types of harassment unlawful. Harassment related to a protected characteristic, which is sex, race, sexual orientation, religion or belief, pregnancy and maternity, marriage and civil partnership, gender reassignment, age and disability. The second one is sexual harassment, which is unwanted conduct of a sexual nature, which violates an employee's dignity, creates an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating, or offensive environment. The third one is less favourable treatment, treating someone poorly because they submit to or reject sexual harassment, which is effectively victimization. Here are some examples of what sexual harassment can look like. Comments or jokes, making inappropriate or offensive remarks about someone's appearance, body, or sexual activities. Telling sexual jokes or stories that make others feel uncomfortable, even if they're not directly communicating with that individual. Displaying sexually graphic photos, videos, or posters in the workplace. Displaying such images on desks, computers, or common areas. Sexual advances, which can be unwanted flirting or propositions for dates. Making sexual comments or suggestions. Sexual gestures, making lewd gestures or mimicking sexual acts. Suggestive looks, staring or leering. An unwanted contact, such as touching, hugging, massaging or kissing without consent. Standing too close or invading personal space in a way that makes someone feel uncomfortable. Intrusive questions about a person's private life or sex life, or a person discussing their own sex life. So you can see the examples are broad and wide, and this helps raise awareness of what could be deemed sexual harassment. Here are some statistics on sexual harassment. 72% of UK population has experienced sexual harassment at work in their lifetime. Women are 3.6 times more likely to experience sexual harassment than men. Healthcare workers are 3 times more likely to experience sexual harassment than any other profession. In the tech industry, 1 in 3 women reported experiencing sexual harassment. Men are more likely to suffer non-sexual forms of harassment, such as bullying or racial harassment. 70% of the LGBT+ individuals have experienced sexual harassment at work. 30% don't report harassment to their employer. 59% of people who reported harassment experienced less favourable treatment afterwards. So why has this Act been introduced? Well, it's a persistent issue. Sexual harassment remains prevalent in workplaces. There are a number of high-profile news stories currently, such as Me Too and other high-profile individuals. Cultural transformation. The Act aims to change workplace cultures by mandating proactive measures from employers. Employers are required to take reasonable steps to prevent sexual harassment. So it's about being proactive and taking positive steps. And really, the goal is to create a respectful and safe workplace where people can feel that their well-being and safety is taken care of, and that they feel that they can thrive and they can be productive. The costs of sexual harassment. It has a damaging impact on both workers and employees. It has an adverse impact on mental and physical health. There is a negative impact on productivity while issues are being ironed out. It increases the costs of management and HR's time spent on investigating grievances and the disciplinary process, which can be timely and stressful for all concerned. If there is a gross misconduct founded, it can be hugely expensive exiting someone from the business and then having to go through the rehiring process. It has a detrimental impact and damage to the employer's reputation. It is huge costs defending sexual harassment claims, both in lawyers' fees, which range from £300 plus per hour, and obviously the compensation damages, which can be uncapped. The costs of sexual harassment tribunal claims are increasing, and a recent case was awarded £350,000 for harassment and victimisation. Examples of sexual harassment. Unwanted comments about looks. A male line manager is to interview a female worker for a promotion. The manager says that the interviewee is the favourite for the job because she is the best looking candidate. The manager's statement is self-evidently unwanted, and the worker need not object to it for a tribunal or court to find it unwanted. It could be felt as degrading and offensive. The next example is sharing sexual images. Male workers download pornographic images to their computer in an office where a woman works. She may make a claim for sexual harassment if she is aware that the images are being downloaded, and the effect of this is to create a hostile and humiliating environment for her. In this situation, it is irrelevant that the male workers did not intend to upset the woman and that they considered the downloading of the images to be having a laugh. More examples of sexual harassment. Unwanted touching and sexual advances. A female worker had a brief sexual relationship with her supervisor. The worker tells her supervisor that she thinks it was a mistake and does not want the relationship to continue. The next day, the supervisor grabs the worker's bottom, says, "Come on, stop playing hard to get." Although the original sexual relationship was consensual, the supervisor's conduct after the relationship ended is unwanted conduct of a sexual nature. Victimization. In the previous example, the worker responds to the supervisor's behaviour by saying, "Get off me, I'm not playing hard to get." After that, the supervisor starts to make things more difficult and gives her more work to do than anyone else and is being more critical of her work. The supervisor is treating the worker less favourably because she has rejected his unwanted conduct. This is a note: sexual interaction that is invited, mutual or consensual is not sexual harassment because it is not unwanted. However, sexual conduct that has been welcomed in the past can become unwanted in the future. So this is an actual employment law case that was founded to be sexual harassment. So harassment may stem from workplace culture where inappropriate conduct is tolerated by some but unwanted by other. So the facts of the case. The claimant was a junior legal secretary and she faced a series of inappropriate incidents involving the firm's owner. These included inappropriate text, such as "Hi sweetheart, are you in the morning?" "Kiss kiss," and graphic discussions about his personal life, such as a story about him catching his ex-partner cheating, in which he described finding a used condom on the floor, comments about her appearance, and the use of offensive language with sexual connotations. The claimant raised a grievance, but was accused by those of conducting herself inappropriately and flaunting herself on social media, with one member of the panel referring to her as a Love Island reject. She resigned after 7 weeks and brought a claim of sexual harassment against the firm. The tribunal decision. The tribunal found in favour of the claimant, concluding that the incidents she experienced met the legal threshold of sexual harassment. It rejected the firm's argument that the behaviour constituted harmless office banter and highlighted that even comments made in flippant or light-hearted manner could still be considered unwanted sexual harassment. The tribunal also criticised the firm's investigation into the claimant's grievance, noting the inappropriate comments made by staff in their testimonies, which supported her claims about the offensive work environment. What do reasonable steps look like? An employer will not be liable for sexual harassment committed by a worker in the course of employment if they can show that they took all reasonable steps to prevent the harassment. An employer is entitled to weigh how effective a step might be against other factors such as time, cost, and potential disruption that may be caused in taking a step. A step that is expensive, time-consuming, and troublesome to implement will not be a reasonable step to take if it will achieve nothing. Conversely, if a step would be effective, then this may outweigh any other negative factors. Reasonable steps could include conducting a risk assessment, reviewing and updating policies, encouraging an open and respectful workplace culture, and awareness training. How do you handle a complaint? If you experience or witness sexual harassment, it's essential you take action. Here are the steps you can take. So report the incident, either informally or formally. Choose the method that best suits your situation. Check out your internal policies. Familiarise yourself with your employer's sexual harassment and grievance procedures. And what you can expect employers to do is to investigate for all complaints to be taken seriously, and that a fair and proper process is followed as per the ACAS Code of Conduct guidelines. Employers should also provide support services such as counselling and HR support. And employers should also protect an employee against potential retaliation to safeguard those people who do report harassment. This is a warning that sexual harassment can be regarded as gross misconduct and may lead to disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. If you need more advice and support, the first port of call is accessing ACAS website and their helpline. You can also check out Equality Advisory and Support Service, Citizens Advice, and if you want to do more research on guidelines, then a good place to start is the Equality and Human Rights Commission. Thank you for listening. I hope you found that educational. If you'd like to stay in touch, please connect with me on LinkedIn or drop me an email.